Hello students, in today's video we are going to study about economic policies. Now what is economic policies? These are the policies which gives directions to conduct business activity. Now promotion and regulation of business activities, it is monitored through various measures of economic policies. Now what are these measures that are taken under economic policy? We shall study in detail. First is monetary policy. Now monetary policy is the policy which regulates supply of money and credit in the economy. Now as we know that money or finance is lifeblood of every business. Any business activity cannot be conducted without money. Now everyone will not have their own funds to do business. Okay, so when you don't have own funds, you have to borrow funds. Now when you want to borrow funds, you have to depend upon banks and other financial institutions for funds, and these banks and financial institution can lend money as per the directions given by RBI. So to control the supply of money in the economy or in the country, okay, RBI has got certain measures. So first one is cash reserve ratio. Now cash reserve ratio is also called as CRR. Okay, so commercial banks have to keep a percentage with of their deposit as a reserve with RBI. Now this percentage ranges from 5% to 15%. That is, now if a bank is receiving deposit, any number of deposit, okay, out of that between 5 to 15% it has to keep as a reserve with RBI, and remaining amount it can lend as loan or it can do investment, but compulsorily certain amount which is fixed by RBI has to be kept by the bank as a reserve with RBI. When you keep this reserve, if the rate of reserve is high, that means you have less money to give as loan for business activities, and if the reserve rate is less, that means you have got more money to give for business activities. So with the help of cash reserve ratio, RBI or the central bank can manage the flow of funds in the business. If RBI wants to promote business activities, then it will keep cash reserve ratio less, but if it wants to reduce business activities, then the reserve is kept high. Okay, so this is first point in monetary policy, that is how funds are made available to business. Next, similarly we have statutory liquidity ratio, it is termed as SLR also. Now commercial banks have to keep a reserve of their deposits in certain securities. Now cash reserve ratio is you have to keep cash as a reserve with RBI. When it comes to SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio, here you have to keep certain amount of your deposit in some securities, in some government or RBI issued securities. Compulsorily bank has to invest in that, and this reserve this ratio ranges from 15% to 35% of the deposit. Whatever deposit you have, out of that 15 to 35% compulsorily you have to invest in some securities. Okay, so similarly RBI uses this also as a tool to manage the funds that will be available in the country. If this ratio is high, that means bank is having less money to lend for business activities, but if the ratio is low, that means the bank is having more money to lend for business activities. Okay, so with this they manage the amount of funds that they can give to the business people to do their business. Next is repo rate. Now sometimes commercial banks, what they do, if they have lack of funds or deposit, so what they can do is they can borrow from RBI, and when you borrow money, then you are supposed to pay interest, right? So that interest rate is nothing but it is called as repo rate. When the commercial banks are borrowing money from RBI, they have to pay interest. That interest is called as repo rate. Okay, so commercial banks, whenever they are in need of funds, they can borrow from RBI, and in turn they have to pay interest, that is called as repo rate. So RBI keeps high repo rate. When RBI wants that more funds should be available in the economy, then this repo rate or interest rate is kept less. But when RBI wants that the money, the flow of funds in the economy should be less, then repo rate is increased. Okay, so that commercial banks will have to pay more interest if they borrow from RBI. Okay, so repo rate in simple terms is nothing but the rate which commercial banks are supposed to pay to RBI if they borrow funds. Next is reverse repo rate. Reverse repo rate, now as the term says, reverse repo rate, this is the rate which commercial banks will receive from RBI. Now in case if commercial banks are having more amount of deposits with them, in spite of keeping at reserves and in spite of giving loans to business people, still if the bank is having excess funds, then what it can do is it can invest this excess funds with RBI, and when it is investing funds with RBI, it will receive interest on that interest is called as reverse repo rate. So RBI, in order to reduce the flow of funds in the economy, what it can do is it can increase the reverse repo rate. When it will increase reverse repo rate, in that case commercial banks will think of depositing more and more with RBI, and when they deposit more with RBI, they will have less funds to give to business people. So that is reverse repo rate. Okay, next is selective credit control measures. Now in selective credit control measures, what RBI does is to regulate business activities, it can have special measures. Now if there is some business which is flowing too much in the economy, so what RBI can do is only for that sector RBI can reduce the amount of funds that can be given, or the quantity of credit that can be given to that particular industry. Now let's say that mobile industry is flourishing too much in the country and other industries are not doing that much well in the country. So what RBI can do is it can reduce the amount of loan or credit which can be given to mobile industry, so that to discourage them for a certain period of time, so that even other industries can grow. So like this, selective credit control measures are taken by RBI. So in short, in monetary policy, Reserve Bank of India tries to manage the funds that are going to be available in the country. If it wants liberal cash, then it will give favorable policies, but it wants less funds in the economy, then it will have rigid policies. If RBI is giving more liberal cash, then there are chances that there will be inflation in the country. That is why RBI has to be very careful with regard to its monetary policies. Next is fiscal policy. Now fiscal policy is nothing but it governs the tax structure and rates. Now we all know that government receives income in the form of taxes. Now taxes can be direct taxes or indirect taxes, but these taxes are the main source of income for the government. Now government is collecting tax from the people, and in return government is providing benefits to the citizen. Now in the picture you can see citizens are paying taxes to the government and government is providing benefit to the citizen. So fiscal policy governs how much tax government is going to collect from the people and how this tax is going to be spent by the government for the welfare of the people. Now taxes are in the form of income tax, or they are in the form of GST, which is indirect tax. Earlier we had VAT, we had sales tax, but now it is replaced by GST. So any business activity that is happening in the country, they charge GST. Whatever GST is collected, it is paid to the government. In case of income tax, whatever income is earned from salary, from business, or from any other profession, so tax is also charged on that. and it is collected by the government. When this tax is collected by the government will not utilize it for its own benefit, but it will come up with welfare schemes such as providing free education, providing midday meals, providing health facilities, developing infrastructure of the country. So government has to plan its tax structure in such a manner that it is not burdensome for the people to pay taxes, as well as it is as well as government should collect good number of tax or good amount of tax from the people, so that it can provide welfare for the people in form of education, health and other benefits that are required by the citizens of the country. So everything regarding tax is decided by the government in fiscal policy. If there is if tax rate is more, then people will do wrong things. That is, let us assume that if government is increasing the rate of tax on business, then what business people will do, they will try to avoid paying tax. They will not do business legally, they will start doing business illegally if government is charging high amount of tax. But if the tax rates are kept minimum, then people also will do fair business and they will disclose their business activities to the government. So it is very important that government plans its tax rate and tax structure in an efficient manner, so that it will receive proper income, as well as it is not burdensome for the people who are doing business. Next is trade policy. Now trade policy, as the name says, this policy decides how the trade will happen in the country. Now trade can be home trade or domestic trade. That is the trading transaction that is done within the country, that is domestic trade, and outside the country or international trade, that is trading or the transactions which are done with other countries. Now trade policies can be sometimes favorable for the domestic country, or sometimes it might be favorable for international transactions. Now when we say that trade policy is favorable for domestic market, now at present you can see our prime minister has come up with an idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So in case of Atmanirbhar Bharat, our government is boosting domestic trade, that is, it is giving importance to domestic or Indian made products, and it is discouraging use of international products. Okay, so here boost is given more to domestic products. So here trade policies are favorable for the domestic market. But for that matter, earlier when government adopted LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, globalization policy in 1992 onwards, in 1990 onwards, their freedom was given to international trade, that is boost was given for transactions which are done with other countries. Free exports and free imports was done. But at present, due to this COVID situation and realizing the importance of domestic industries, government has done favorable domestic trade policies. So when we say favorable domestic policies, here government will give more benefits, incentives, subsidies to domestic countries, and it will increase import tax, so that people should buy less products from other countries. So that is how trade policy is managed. But for that matter, if government wants to encourage international trade policies, then the tax rates for imports and all are decreased, so that people can easily buy products from other countries. So based on the situation in the country, government molds trade policy from time to time for the benefit of people. Remember, currently government is in favor of domestic trade policy. Next is industrial policy. Now under industrial policy, government or this policy regulates the growth and development of industry through various measures like license, permits, duties, capacity restriction, etc. Now we know that industries are required for the development and growth of the nation, but government cannot easy. Now as we know that we have mixed economic system, so here industries can be owned by private people as well as by the government. So government makes certain policies or rules and regulation as to how you can set up your industry, whether license is required for setting up of the industry or no, whether credit or money will be available easily for setting up industries or no. Currently under the package of Atmanirbhar Bharat, government is promoting small cottage, micro, medium enterprises by giving credit which is available at lower rate of interest to encourage the people to start new industries and develop the country. Okay, similarly if government wants to restrict development of industries, then it can have unfavorable industrial policies wherein it will have lot of licensing permit procedures to discourage growth of industries in the country. So industrial policy basically decides how the industries will grow in the country. Okay, now there are certain industries which are run only by the government. Best example is railways. Now railways are completely run by the central government. There is no private sector which is involved in railways. But for that matter, buses, if you see, we have government buses, we have private buses also. So citizens of the country have a choice whether to travel by private buses or by government buses. If you travel by government buses, the fare rate is less, but private buses fare rate is more, but the service which is provided, it is good. So it is left to the citizen which to choose. So like this, government can have favorable or unfavorable industrial policy for growth of that particular industries. So this is all about economic policies. With this I conclude for today. Thank you.